that we've gotten a kind of a staff presentation on it. You combine it all together. I appreciate that. So any questions from council regarding the water schedule? Is there a motion?
Move to approve 14-104.
Second.
Councilmember Jones, would like to keep the motion.
Like everything else, we have requirements, we have needs, and we're pay for it somehow.
Based on the presentation, that's all. It seems like they're reasonable increases for the cost of doing business.
Any other comments from council? Councilmember Holsey.
My question to the city attorney is, should these be ordinances?
I do not believe so.
Because stormwater rate had required an ordinance to be raised. It seems like water through the sanitary sewer rates doesn't impact the budget, but it's pretty affected by it.
In order to give the council an answer, I'd have to defer an answer over determination of that issue.
I move to postpone this resolution for the next business meeting, or the attorney can provide us with more.
I believe these have always been done by resolution, but
Yeah,
based on past.
it would be my recommendation to the council that based upon the past history of the city of Pacific doing these by resolutions, that that's an acceptable method of achieving a rate increase on these three items. And I would suggest that you vote on it tonight.
It's only two areas. For some reason, water and sewer have been done traditionally by resolution. Stormwater has been done by ordinance. Based on past practice, and I don't know when stormwater for a long time was not an element of, that was not an enterprise fund that cities had available to them. It's something that's occurred more recently, and when I say more recent, probably 20, 30 years. And it's possible that when the stormwater came up, that's why it came as an ordinance as opposed to resolution for their rates.
Probably the initial ordinance that got established, and then rate increases kept going by ordinance instead of resolution. Because I remember stormwater came in when after I became a citizen, and I've been here 21 years, so it's only been in the last 18 years or so that we've had stormwater.
Councilmember Jones.
There's a question to the attorney that if we were to continue with the resolution and after investigation was deemed an ordinance was required, then they would become mute, and then we could bring them back up as ordinances.
That's correct, but it would be my recommendation, based as I've indicated, that the resolution for the water fee schedule and the sanitary sewer rates are authorized items by this council to pass at this meeting.
Any other comments from council? Okay, comments from the audience? Seeing none, roll call council, please.
Well, which one are you voting on now?
Pardon?
You have two motions on the floor.
The one didn't get seconded.
Oh, okay. My
So
bad.
we're voting on the resolution 14-104. Roll call council, please.
Councilmember Jones?
Aye.
Councilmember Page?
Aye.
Councilmember Knudsen? Aye. Councilmember Steiger?
Right.
And Councilmember Holsey? Motion carries.
Thank you. Next item is resolution number 14-105, sanitary sewer rates. Again, we had the staff report right here. A motion from council or question?
Move to approve resolution 14-105. And it's established by presentation.
Second.
Councilmember Jones.
Like everything else, I think we've got to deal with these costs.
Okay, Councilmember Hughes.
This one we have no control over. King County charges us, and if we don't pass that cost over, we don't have the ability to within our own budget to absorb it, so we gotta pass that increase on to the citizens.
Any other comments from council? And then comments from the audience? Okay, seeing none, roll call council, please.
Councilmember Page,
Aye.
Councilmember Knutson. Aye. Councilmember Steiger,
Aye.
Councilmember Hulsey,
Aye.
Councilmember Jones. Motion carries.
Next item on the agenda is resolution number 14-111.
I would like to approve the contract for Tummy Yummies for the vending machine. One to go into the senior center, the other one to go into City Hall done by the court. The 10% that would be the donations for the senior center for the vending machine that's in the senior center, and 10% that would go to the children's youth group that is done here by the court. And I talked to Elizabeth Perrin, and she said that we can choose healthier items instead of just like Hershey candy bars and that type of thing, and Diet Coke. We can choose water and trail mix, healthier choices that could go into the vending machine.
Questions from council? Councilmember Jones.
Looking at the terms, in terms of, term of this agreement, you have a period of blank years, beginning. I'm not really sure if I'm secure with years initial. I do more of a trial basis to see how well it, performs, and as far as usage and waste and money is concerned, as far as to the city's benefit. But again, that's just my concern.
Would you be comfortable with a 0.5 year?
I think, just go for a full year, and then you're saying, you're worried about doing multi-year contract, right?
Well, I'm more that and the fact that, just being able to get out of it, if it doesn't work out.
I don't see
Well,
that you're
you
getting.
can give 90-day notice.
Yeah.
to get out of it.
Councilmember.
One thing is, in the resolution, it states 10% to the city and doesn't specify in the resolution what it goes to. I think this should be amended to state where the monies go, so that the money doesn't end up in the same account.
Who would like to amend that?
So I'd like to make a motion to amend the resolution to state that the machines in the senior center, the 10% profits go to the senior center. And the machines in City Hall, the 10% profit goes to, the Youth Resource Fund? What's the name of that fund?
Youth Center Fund.
The Youth Center Fund. I think it should be specific in the resolution.
So, and put that underneath section 1. This is the Pacific City Council hereby authorizes the agreement, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so amend
I think it's
the-
under the whereas, just amend the whereas where it says 10% to the sales to the city, it states 10% to each of those funds.
That's not binding.
City attorney rate goes into the,
So section 1. Councilmember Holsey.
We seem to be putting a whole lot of bet on people that come to court using the vending. As I recall, food and beverage is not allowed in culture.
Councilmember Jones.
I'm confused, I thought one was gonna go in the senior center,
Correct.
and then one's going over into the gym area.
No, it's City Hall down here by
Okay.
the court.
Okay.
We don't want, soda on the gym floor.
Councilmember Steiger.
The only thing I see is that we keep track back of this, because if they are not used and we get no revenue from them to speak of, it's taking power from the city to run them. So, just keep that in mind.
Good idea, thank you so much. Any other comments from council? Member Stanton?
I know, with money that's been donated to certain things, is earmarked for certain things, we have to get approval, and so would this be the approval for this donation?
That's what this is stating, that's the money, that revenue that comes in, goes
Okay.
specifically to
Not
these two
not a
items.
donation.
It's just the revenue. Yeah, okay. Yes, city attorney.
It would be my recommendation that section 1 have added to it the proceeds to be divided between the senior citizens, the senior center, and those two funds. And I would also add, indicate that 10% of the profits from the sales to the city may want to consider how often that's determined, every 6 months, every quarter, or yearly. They might wind up paying yearly.
So, okay. Yeah, I was just trying to remember if I remember that in the contract.
It says in here that B item, term 2B is, be payable to,
On a
so
quarterly
this payment
basis.
should be made on a quarterly basis.
Quarterly.
It's in the contract.
Okay, so it's in the quarterly. So we'll know from the first quarter how it goes. Any other questions from council? Councilmember Davis?
Can we have the city clerk read the amended resolution, please? Proposed amendment.
The resolution hasn't even been in the motion yet. So you know, it's not in the motion yet. Okay.
You'd like the whole resolution, or
The the amended resolution.
the whole amended resolution?
Yes.
Okay. Therefore, be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Pacific, Washington, Section 1, that the Pacific City Council hereby authorizes the mayor to enter into an agreement with Tummy Yummies LLC for placement of vending machines in the senior center and City Hall. Proceeds to be divided between the senior center and youth services.
Make a motion that we adopt the amended resolution. Number 14-111.
We didn't even have a motion on the floor, so we don't have a second for the amendment.
It's not an amendment, that's why I'm making a motion now
Okay,
to adopt the amended resolution
okay.
versus.
Good. I'm just making sure she has it right, that's the question. Okay, go for it. Start on Councilmember Davis.
Okay, make a
Thank you.
motion that we adopt the newly amended resolution number 14-111.
Okay. Second?
Second.
Okay, Councilmember Kay, would you like to speak to your motion?
I don't have a problem with the vending machines going in, and if we can get some dedicated funding for some of our programs in town, then I see it as a good thing.
Councilmember Jones?
I seconded for the purposes of reading it. I will reluctantly vote for it, because I want to see how well this does, it doesn't do. But I do have my concerns about taking money from local business establishments. So we'll just have to see. I'm willing to do it for a minimal period of time and then come back and read it and see how we're doing. We're not, like Councilmember Cave stated, that we're not seeing beneficial results, or we're having garbage issues or any kind of stuff like that fall out from it. And I'd like to see us cease and desist.
Any other comments? Councilmember Holster?
Every time I think of vending machines, I remember when I was a kid, if I had a quarter in my pocket, I'd go to the vending machine and get back cigarettes.
There won't be cigarettes.
Any other comments from council? Councilmember Clifford.
What was the period of time you were going to write us up for?
I would like to see it for half a year. It could be here for a year, we got 90 days.
Well, and we can, yeah.
I just don't want to see it long established. Unless we find it beneficial.
Councilmember Steiger.
I'm a little confused in Darcy's, and that's the way you wanted it divided up, the way it's divided up now. It all goes in one pot. According to this ordinance, one pot is split between the two.
The vending machine here in City Hall, that's by the court, would go to
That's
City
not
Hall.
how it's written. That's
Not the way
They'll be
it's
evenly divided.
amended. The two
That's
vending
what I want
machines
you to
together will
understand
be
what-
split
Okay.
evenly, which I think is just,
That's fine, too.
All right, just want to make sure we have it
That's
clear.
Yes, that would be fine.
any other comments from council? Any comments from the audience? Come on up.
So my question is, Kate Home, 102, Alder Lane South. Two questions. One, is there an additional cost for the insurance in case these things tip over as we shake them, if we don't get our candy out? And, let's see, and who pays for the vandalism?
I don't believe we are at risk. I will ask both those questions before they get us, so thank you.
Thank you.
I'm sure. I don't know. So, another question? Come on up to the mic, please.
Don Thompson, 416 Second Avenue Southeast Pacific. I'd like to know why we run quote of 2 machines. We should go with 3 machines. One over at the youth center, one here at City Hall, and one at the senior center, for this reason. The seniors over there, they don't pay for nothing. Everything's free, or they don't participate. So the only participation you're getting in the machine is for your specific partnership or any other meetings, church, or anything else over there. Here at City Hall, you'll get quite a bit of participation due to the courts. Over at the youth center, again, you have the children, but you also have outside activities using that facility that would use that machine more so, that wouldn't have access here to City Hall or the senior center, or vice versa during these activities. Just a thought.
I think a trial run with 2 is sufficient. But, yes, Councilmember Steiger?
I believe that maybe Don has a good suggestion. I don't know, talk to the vending people, but you do have the jam sessions and the other things on Wednesday night over here and other outside activities. So why don't we leave that up to the discretion of the vending people?
Councilmember Holt, please.
I would like to see a whole harmless clause in there, and then define the city damage because of vandalism.
I'd recommend under item number 2, A, that the word on the second line from the end, where it says prior to the expiration of the end of the initial term or extended as the case may be, that be stricken and just give 90 days notice termination.
Okay.
That way you have the 90-day right, otherwise it's automatically extended unless notice is given.
Okay. So, well, and here's one of my concerns right now that I'm having, with all these items that are being brought forward and questions that need to be asked, is to step back from this, bring it back to workshop, go through and clarify all these things before we move forward for a vote on it. It's just, with everything that's being brought forward now and all these questions that we're having, and we seem to have some confusion, some concern about how this is written, how this is written up. I don't want to be striking somebody else's contract and approving it.
I withdraw my motion.
we'll go with that.
Okay.
Postpone another workshop.
We'll just, if you could let her know that we're gonna move it to the next workshop on the 18th and try to get some of these questions resolved. And some of these questions I can get resolved tomorrow. I'm meeting with AWC tomorrow, and I can ask questions regarding insurance and that kind of thing, but, I'm seeing too many questions, too many what-ifs, and, you know, some clarifications that I think we'd be better off to just move it to another workshop and moving forward. So I appreciate that.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
You might invite a representative, maybe answer some of these questions to
Yeah.
the council at the workshop.
Right. And she asked me tonight if she needed to be here, and I told her I thought all the questions got answered at the
Obviously not.
workshop, so, anyway, so we'll just move forward. So, I mean, kick it and move it back to the workshop. Okay. Thank you, council. Next item on the agenda, resolution number 14-106.
Resolution number 14-106, approving park board participation in 2014 Earth Day event. I don't know if anyone needs for me to explain what the Earth Day event is all about. It's a yearly event that has taken place since 2007. That's what we finally decided. 2007 was in the city of Pacific. And this year's Earth Day will be based on the Green Cities campaign for Earth Day 2014. It's focused on 3 key elements: buildings, energy, and transportation. Alas, no trash pickup contest will be held in Pacific unless somebody does it independently. The Pacific event is planned to include an informational fair with vendor displays, recycling/trash drop-off, a lunch, and other activities to involve all members of the community. It is scheduled for April 26, 2014, from 10 to 3 o'clock with setup beforehand. Recommended action is to approve resolution number 14-106, Pacific Park Board participation in an April 26, 2014 Earth Day event.
Okay, questions from council? Councilmember Jones.
I'm just gonna move to approve 14-106.
Is there a second?
Second.
Would you like to speak first?
I think it's wise. We've been involved in it several years, and the park board involvement has been beneficial to the city and Earth Day event, so it's just a win-win.
Councilmember Steiger.
The only thing I can say is, any of you that have not been involved in this, show up, because you will not believe how many truckloads of just garbage and stuff that's brought in along the streets and stuff. It's laying out there kind of spotty here and there, but when you try to pick it all up and throw it in the pickup, your pickup's full and nothing flat.
And how fierce that competition can get.
Alas, no competition this year at Trash Queen, or is it Empress? Empress.
I suspect a couple of the entrants in that competition go to other cities to pick up their trash.
Is that true,
No
Frank?
comment.
Okay, any other comments from council? Comments from the audience? Seeing none, roll call, council, please.
Councilmember Steiger?
All right.
Councilmember Goldie?
Aye.
Councilmember Jones?
Aye.
Councilmember Cave?
Aye.
Councilmember Knutson?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda, resolution number 14-107.
Resolution number 14-107, approving park board participation in 2014 Pacific Days events. Pacific Partnerships has annually hosted Pacific Days for several years, and before that it was the City of Pacific function to host Pacific Days. This event provides community building, tourism, and participation in the city parks. The Park Board would like to co-sponsor 2014 events with Pacific Partnerships and Pacific City Park. I should say Pacific Partnerships and other groups in Pacific City Park, and other places as well, including the parade. The event is slated to be held July 11th through 13th, 2014. Recommended action: approve resolution number 14-107, Pacific Park Board participation in the 2014 Pacific Days event.
Move to approve 14-107.
Second.
Okay, Councilmember Jones.
Same as Earth Days, it's all beneficial for the city to be involved with the park, Civic Days, and the park board is gracious enough to step up and take a rein on that, so I think it's a win-win.
Thing, it's an annual event, and it's wonderful for the city.
Any other comments from council? Councilmember Stieglus?
Yeah, it's just a thought crossed my mind, is, do we have all the provisions in line here and so forth, so we can accept contributions? Because we don't have a 501c.
I will be attending, along with hopefully some other members of other members. I will be attending a Pacific Partnerships meeting tomorrow evening to have a discussion about how we're going to fund both of these, actually. The last I heard, Pacific Partnerships had no money identified for Earth Day, and they were working on getting their 501c3 back. I know the mayor has mentioned recreating a board that could receive those things. Yeah, so we're kind of up in the air with that right now.
Okay, my question is, I mean, we got this Earth Day, that event's coming up pretty fast. And we should be starting to ask for donations here within the next 30 days for sure, at least to assist us with the Earth Days. But we cannot accept them unless we have something in place that will allow us to accept contributions.
We are asking for contributions of materials from vendors, and we have a donation. I wish Chairwoman Kate Hall-Pease would step up. One of our great benefactors in many ways.
Earth Day.
Lunch.
Oh, lunch? Oh, yeah. We have hot dogs, we have nachos, we have cheese. It's what we have every year. Chili cheese, yes. So, I mean, it's all about food, and materials, because as you're absolutely right, we can't accept cash. So we're coming begging, for materials. I mean, it's just a fact of life. That's why we're not having a competition, and we scaled it back, is because no money, no moss, no stuff.
Any other questions from council? No? Okay, questions from the audience? Seeing none, roll call council.
I have one question.
Yes, Councilmember Stieglus.
I don't know whether it would be legal or not, but in the event that we would have an expense from a vendor or something, if that vendor would, say, bill Joe Doakes Towing, and Joe Doakes Towing pays for it, but the city receives the service. I mean, what he's doing is, you're saying that donating material, he's donating a service or something. I mean, so it's not something to be run through the city books.
I am unqualified to answer a legal question of that. All
Well,
I know is
I'm just saying
I'm not going to jail for fraud.
They're adjustable.
Been there once, ain't going back.
Anyway, it's just a thought that, I don't know what you guys are talking about.
You might want to address that question to the lawyer sitting 2 doors down.
The city needs a 501c3 to make contributions. They're not the city, but the people need a 501c3 to make contributions so they can get a receipt of this tax deduction. Why has Pacific Days tried to get their 501c3 back?
Yes, they are working on it. And they're close. They claim. Yeah, Frank, are they close?
It's being worked on, there was,
That's really not part of the ordinance, but kind of off topic on the motion on the floor.
my can of worms, I'm sorry.
So, are Are there any other questions regarding the motion on the floor? Hearing none, roll call council, please.
Councilmember Stager.
Aye.
Councilmember Holsey. Councilmember Jones.
Aye.
Councilmember Cave.
Aye.
Councilmember Knutson.
Aye.
Motion carries.